Good morning or good evening, wherever you're at. Welcome back to another episode of The Awakening. It's been a bit of a while since the last one. It's been pretty difficult for myself personally. But yeah, man, how are you going?
Yeah, man. Kind of going through it like you, man, a bit. Not in the same way, but just I feel like the energies have been off. I feel like I've felt off. I feel like I don't know, man. I'm still struggling, man, a bit with to be honest with you, man, like how do I fit into the 3D aspect of the world, And I feel like a lot of people, man, that are awakening. I've been going through many different awakenings throughout my life, but like there's been two major ones in the last few years or last 7 years, and it's amplified it even more, like where I feel like that's the biggest difficulty I'm having is like staying on this path, this spiritual path, and how do I play in the 3D aspect? Like everybody wants to go to a bar or a brewery or drink or whatever the case may be, and I'm like, but I've done all those things before. And then I'm like, how do I, how do I, I don't even know how to describe it, man. I'm just like struggling playing in those things, like if I'm even going to play in that, you know what I mean?
Mm,
Because it's like I've been hurt by it. So I'm like, can I go back to it? Kind of like what we talk about the other addictions, it's like you've been hurt by it. So can you actually go back to it and not overdo it or become addicted again, or uh not that I don't feel I can even drink right now anyway. If I wanted to drink some alcohol, I don't think I could. I don't think I don't feel my body could do it. And but anyways, my point that I'm trying to make is not to go off on a tangent after you asked the quick question. It's like I just don't I'm trying to figure out my place in the 3D part of 3D matrix. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I'm like, how do I fit in? Like, how do I mold into that? Like that's where I've been kind of struggling with, because it just feels like everyone's playing it and I'm not.
yeah, yeah, man,
Well,
I get
and that's
that. Like
part of the
I've
experience, dude. That's part of experiencing all of it, right?
yeah. Yeah, I get that. These past 2 weeks for me, I've just been feeling very just, I mean, it's been a busy, stressful time with the move and everything. But yeah, in a sense, I feel like I've been a bit uprooted, a bit lost at times, like not sure, like same like you in that way of like wondering like where exactly do I fit in? Like I've been craving this feeling of sort of belonging somewhere, finding, my home where I belong, because it's like one thing I've learned in the last, I would say, yeah, especially with moving around a lot, is that I think home is more so like a feeling, a state of being, rather than a specific place. Like,
A
when
hundred
I'm out in
percent.
when
Yeah.
I'm out in nature, and sometimes even when I'm traveling around, like I might feel like I'm at home, whereas when I might be in a stationary location, but it's like it's in an environment that's not conducive to me living my best life. Like that might not feel like home at all. It's like, yeah, I definitely think it's more so feeling. But yeah, I mean, it's just I've been feeling very lost, like
Within here though.
within here, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But do you feel more
But yeah,
disconnected? Because that's what I feel like. You're disconnected from these 3D matrix things, like that's maybe more what I was trying to, I guess, convey. Like there's a disconnect, I guess. I don't know if that's like how you feel, but like um
well, yeah, I've because of it with being so busy and everything like that. I mean, it's like traditionally, like in my spare time, then I would go towards, all these addictive behaviors. But I found I haven't even been doing that. Like I've more or less been staying off the internet for the most part. Like apart from a little bit in the evening, I've been just all the spare time I've had, I've basically just been just sitting around, just contemplating and just, yeah, just trying to live a life where I can be just grounded and connected with the real world. So I have felt very disconnected recently. It's just I mean, when you're very busy, when you're constantly doing, constantly overdoing, go, 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 it's like, it's hard. It's very hard to stay grounded, like when
yeah,
all this chaos around you. And
yeah.
yeah, especially last week, I was really going through it a lot. Like it was just. yeah, I was having negative thoughts. I was ready to give up on things. And, but yeah, I mean, thankfully I got through. Like, I feel like one thing that was very important was to just, or I just realized that many of these things are out of my control, and I just needed to surrender. And it was a big lesson for that.
Yeah, and I mean you're not doing like you're not giving yourself self-care, which is a part of the grounding aspect and the movement of you moving so quickly and go go go, you're not slowing down to have that, right? But
Mhm.
I don't know, I'm more so like yeah, I that happens every day for me too. Like you have to, yeah, it's like a daily practice. I think you have to ground every single day, you know.
Yeah,
Sometimes we have,
definitely. Like, it's
yeah.
not like with living a healthy, fulfilling life. Like, I think like sometimes people can get too caught up in that, oh, once I incorporate this habit into my life, like that's it, it's done. But it's like, no, it's a continuous journey, a continuous process. Like, it's the same with like, working out, going to the gym. It's like, it's not like you go for, a month or two and you get all these gains and then suddenly you won't have to work out again. No, you got to keep
Yeah,
going. You got
yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah.
consistent at it. It's the same with like eating healthy, meditation, and all of that. It's a lifestyle. And it's about it gets back ties in again. Like, it's about the journey, the
Yeah.
process, not necessarily a specific destination.
No, and it's the balance too. It's definitely balance. It requires balance. Like how do you play in 3D matrix and walk your spiritual path and have that balance? You know, like that's the difficult part that I've had majority of my life. Like how do you, you know, because I kind of been sort of walking on that spiritual path, but then sort of not. But then also I haven't resonated really in the 3D part of things ever really. I don't think I've ever really, a lot of it I was just doing to people please, you know,
Yeah,
and fit
same.
in and fit in. It wasn't like, oh, I really wanted to do that. Like you were talking about on your video about you're finally realizing that you love hiking, you know, and it's like maybe before you were doing these other things that you didn't really, that wasn't like aligned with your
Mm.
soul and you were just doing it to fit in, you know, and like, oh, I want to fit in with this
Yeah,
clique.
yeah. I mean, but after that, like, I haven't posted it yet. I'm gonna post it later today. I made a video talking about, don't wait on your dreams and, following what your deepest passion is, whatever it may be. And it's like as a society, like, I feel like we're taught to, make all these compromises and all of that, and that,
Yeah.
oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't follow your dreams, or don't be unrealistic, don't be a dreamer, things like that. Like, these are the things that, I've been told growing up. And I think deep down we all know what it is that we want. We just have to, listen to, our intuition and, yeah, our higher power, and get to that mode of just surrender. Because it's like, all these, with the 3D matrix, all these questions will pop up. Or, but if I do that, how will I support myself? I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
do it.
yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
that's the things I've told myself. Like,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Same
I've
here.
come to a or it's really been a process over the last year that I've started to realize more, what is it that I truly enjoy? What gives me joy and fulfillment? And yeah, for me, it's like being outdoors in nature, hiking, traveling, exploring new places. Like,
Same
that's really what I want to do,
Yeah.
with my life. Like, when I think of what gives me just joy, something I would do, like, that's something that I would want to do. And it's like, I was listening to a channel recently. He was talking about, I forgot who it was. He was talking about, finding your deepest passion, your soul desire. And he said basically it's like, if you did not need, if money was out of the equation, if you did not need any money whatsoever, what would you spend your time doing? It's like, well, working a job. No, I wouldn't really spend time doing that. I don't
No,
think any
no.
people would. It's like, you might have 1% of people who work in something that they thoroughly enjoy, that they might genuinely still do. But I think most of us, it's like working a job, especially if it's for someone else. Like, no, we wouldn't do that if we didn't need the money. And I was thinking, well, yeah, if I didn't need money, I would spend every day just going out, exploring new places, hiking, being in nature. And it's like something that you would do, regardless. It doesn't have necessarily any, it doesn't need to have any sort of specific purpose of, oh, it gets you these resources, it gets you money, things like that. No, it's something that just brings you joy, helps ground you. And it doesn't have to be hiking. It could be anything. Like for the guy I was watching, yeah, for him it was surfing. He's like, yeah, I'll just go surfing every day.
I can agree 100% with you, man, because I mean, to be honest with you, like ever since I left Florida, I realized I love nature. When I was in Florida, I didn't enjoy it there. I started to realize that it was so hot that I was taking everything for granted, and I was like, oh, I'm sweating my ass off, and then I go in the house and get under the AC immediately, or I go into the car immediately to get an AC. And it was just like I wasn't really, when I was outside, I wasn't enjoying nature. And I came here, and I haven't spent as much time as I really want to, and I haven't explored some of the places I really want to explore, because there's this one person told me there's like a place that's like 2 hours away, and it's like got 100-foot waterfalls. I'm like, oh my God, I really want to see that, you know, and I miss the ocean. And, you know, and it's like, I really like going to these parks and walking around and just listening to the birds and being present, you know, and it grounds me. And I like going to like the water. I definitely feel an attraction to water, whatever type of water it is, just bodies of water, the ocean, lakes, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
I have an attraction to water. I really get drawn to it, you know. And so yeah, I can definitely agree, and I never really realized that about myself, you know. And I really enjoy being outside or inside, whatever you want to call it, because it's like inverted, you know.
Mm.
It's like but in nature, I like being in nature because nature is us internally. So and we are nature. And you know, and it's hilarious when you hear some of these YouTubers talking about like just go after the money, and like, you know, like that nature stuff is garbage, it's not going to do anything for you. And I'm like, are you kidding me, man? It really legitimately grounds
Mm.
you. And
Yeah, yeah. It's like it really gets back to like that. Like money really is just an illusion. I mean, it's
yeah,
like if you
yeah,
go, like if you go to, if you go around the world, let's just say you go and visit, an uncontacted, tribe that lives, in harmony with nature. Like you give them paper money, they'll be like, what do I do with this? Like, what is this? They might
yeah,
try and,
yeah,
if
yeah,
it's paper money, maybe they'll use it to light a fire or something. But it's like, yeah, it's like I'm not saying, don't use money or any of that. It's like, yeah, I still work, I still need money. I mean, I'm still
yeah,
living as part of this matrix society, all of that. But like, I think we just need to come to a realization that, it's not money that we want, like at all. Like, we get money because we want some of the resources that come with money that we need to survive. But then, with many people, they then conflate that, oh, money will bring you success, happiness, fame, and all these other things. I think, no, money's just a system that has been developed just to get resources that we need to survive. So it's about survival, but it's not about, living life, because like there's a big difference between just surviving, getting the basic resources you need to survive, like food, water, shelter, and actually living life, doing what you um enjoy it. I mean, I'm not saying that back in, hunter-gatherer times it was all, just easy and there was a perfect life. I mean, there was a lot of hardship there that we living here in society wouldn't face. But it's like if you like there was some research that was done, a while back into some of these societies, and they found that on average, these people would like they wouldn't work as long hours as people work nowadays in modern job. Like they would maybe spend like 15, 20 hours a week going out, hunting, gathering food. But compared to us, they had a lot of downtime where they could really
yes,
just live.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's stillness too, man. It's like that's one of the biggest things, man, that we don't get enough time in stillness, right? That's a huge, like, stillness and like slowing down are the two number one things that will bring you these answers that you need. You know what I mean? When you're moving too fast, you're in distraction. And none of that's why the systems were created by these hurt individuals to keep us from that, you know, keep us so busy. And then you get wrapped up in this hamster wheel, of like owning all this stuff and then having to support all this stuff. And then you're trapped. Because now what are you going to do? Like you have to pay
Mm.
for
It
all of it,
really, it
right?
really, it really is a trap. You get trapped in this hamster wheel where it's like it
Yeah.
becomes so much more than just getting the basic necessities you need to survive. It's about materialism and collecting more things, and you need more, more, more. Just go buy
Yes.
more, go
Yes.
consume more, and then you have all these material possessions, and then it's like you become a slave to it. Like I mean, I've really seen that over the last week. Like I mean, I personally don't have really that much stuff, but I've been moving, from the place I was renting, with my parents, and it's like, they've got a lot of, things accumulated over the years, and just helping them move all that stuff, furniture, boxes full of things, like, toys that I might have had as a kid, like all of these material possessions, you spend so much time and energy moving it around, putting it in boxes,
Yeah.
all of that, and it's like, how much of it do I even know I have, or do they
Yeah.
know they have? It's like, how much of it is really something that is necessary to survival, and it's like that's all tied to money, because money was used to get it. So I really think we need to get back to the point where it's like I'm not saying don't use money. It's all about your approach to it. But
Are
like
you ever going to use any of that stuff, dude? I mean, it's like
no, no, it's like
those
I've
things from like a kid. And as you were saying it, man, my head was like starting to hurt because I'm thinking about my own shit, and I'm like I told you about all those containers that were in the garage, like 26 containers filled with
oh yeah,
crap
you should
that,
see the garage here and this new place that we moved into. I mean, the garage is full of stuff, and even the my room and everything is just full of boxes. So there's so much crap to sort through.
and imagine the amount of time that you're going to have to take when you get older if you still have all that stuff. And if it's
Yeah,
left to
exactly,
you,
exactly,
that you're going
exactly.
to have to
Just
like go through it and try to find somebody that's going to take it, because I had so much stuff, dude, that is brand new, and I put it on eBay and I couldn't even sell it. And the stuff has value to it. At least if you go to a store, it's still in a store and they're selling it for a higher price. People don't, I can't even sell it. So I'm like, all right, man, you know what? Like it's taken me more energy to try to sell it and put it up and do all this and then ship it and all this crap. So I just donate it. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
it's just, it's so overwhelming, dude. And it's like, it was like when those 26 containers were out there, I kept walking past them for years. And my dad was like telling me, when are you going to go through that stuff and get rid of it or whatever? And I'm like, I couldn't even find myself like to get to that point to like even open one of them up and go through it. It was so overwhelming. You know what I
Yeah, it's
mean?
like it gets to this point when you get all this stuff, it's like, where the heck do I start? It's like that's
Yeah,
the
where do
feeling
you
I have. And
start? What do you do with it? Like
but it's
it's
like,
like
yeah, it's got to start with, small steps. Like it's so hard to get started, but like once you get started
yeah,
and you go on a roll, it's like it just feels so liberating. Like I mean,
yeah,
this
yeah.
last week, I've like there's this in the town that I live, there's this op shop where they sell all this secondhand stuff, and sort of donated a few things to there, and there's been a few things that like no one else would want, so it's like, okay, off to the garbage tip you go.
Well, this place that I donate to, they take everything, man. So it doesn't even
Yeah,
matter.
the place I go to, it takes basically everything, but there's been like a few things like old expired
Yeah, yeah.
food and
Oh,
just
okay, yeah,
all of
yeah.
that.
But I'll tell you this much, it's like I was doing all of that unconsciously. It was like buying and buying and buying unconsciously. Like, oh, I gotta have this. Oh, I gotta have this. Like before I knew it, these containers are in my room touching the ceiling. That's how high they were. Before I moved them up here, they were in another state and they were in my bedroom and they were almost to the ceiling. And I'm like, when I had another awakening, I was like, what the, like this was recent, really more than ever. And probably in the last year to 2 years, probably the 2020 era. I'm gonna tell you right now, I was like, oh my God, man, what am I gonna do with all this shit? And I kept telling my friend, I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed. He's like, just start small, man, like little steps, And he was right. And I got down to 4 containers, but I haven't really felt like wanting to go back and doing it again. But like, I realize I'm like, I don't need this stuff, man. I just want like a simple life, man. Like, but then, you know what the difficult part is, man? This is what I want to get into with you because I think this is a really good topic, what we're talking about here. it's like I told you I started getting on dating apps, you know, and you start getting on the dating apps and these women want like, oh yeah, like I like to go to breweries, I like to drink, I like to do these things that I don't really resonate with anymore, you know. And then it's like you're expected to like I'm gonna be straight up. I've talked about it on my channel, you know, like I don't resonate with a 9 to 5 job. You know what I mean? Like I create a different, we are creators. And I feel like I'm a creator of my reality in my world, and I don't want that in my world. I don't want to be controlled by that. That was never something I resonated with. Having a 9 to 5, I never lasted those things. And I'm struggling with that with the relationship. How am I gonna meet somebody that's gonna be okay with me wanting to spend time with myself and wanting to be independent and do things and also be in the relationship and have that too, but then the lifestyle that I want to have. Like a lot of people are dependent and want you to like, oh yeah, you got to support the family and you got to have a, you know, this 9 to 5 job. And, you know, and it's like, how do you integrate that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you, it's not an easy thing, and it's not easy to find somebody that is willing and okay with that type of world either, because there is a lot of people, majority are, like you said, a slave to this system that that's been created by our consciousness, by us, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's like we're told that like 9 to 5 jobs, oh, you need that for security, for stability, but how much security and stability is it really? I mean, it's
That's what I'm
like it's
saying,
not.
dude. It's
It's
bullcrap. It's an
like
illusion.
there's no such thing. Like
No.
nothing is guaranteed. Like I mean, let's just say even going like go back 100 years, how much of those companies and corporations, businesses are still around? Like
Yeah.
barely any. It's like,
Yeah.
people change, people grow, people evolve. It's like this whole thing of being stagnant and being stable, secure. It's an illusion. Things change, and it's like we can either choose to just adapt, surrender, go with the flow, or just be stagnant and just hold on to all those things,
I guess I just have to. Oh god, I'm sorry.
which ultimately, when you're in that mode of just wanting to be stagnant and holding on, it just creates all this stress and internal resistance.
Yeah, totally. And I guess I have to just, I'm more and more realizing I have to just trust. I have to trust and have faith that the right person's going to come along that will be okay with what I believe and what I think, because, you know, like I have an opinion too, and I see the world in a different way. You know what I mean? Like I've been self-employed for since I don't know, it goes back to like 19, long time, man. At least 2001, if not a little bit earlier than that. You know, and prior to that, I was working at the malls and I was doing other jobs, and most of them, the longest I probably had was a year. You know, so it just never felt good to me. It never resonated with me. And then it was always like, well, you got to save for retirement. And then I see like my dad, who built this empire for himself and saved up for himself and worked 17 hours a day, no lunch, busting his ass, ended up with cancer 3 times in his life, and then passed away at 75, and never really achieving what he wanted to achieve, which was write a book to help everyone with what he went through. And I look at that and I saw him so tired and exhausted at the end. So what are you doing all of this really for, to get to that age where they say, "Oh yeah, you're going to retire and you're going to sit on the golf course and play golf till you die, and and just like travel and all this stuff." And he really didn't get to that point. He was so he destroyed his body with with in the beginning when he was younger, like drinking a lot and having ulcers and all this stuff. And then later on, he ended up with cancer in like 97. And all of this, which he did not realize, was the abuse. Like he was not doing what you were talking about, which is self love and taking care of yourself and self care. You know, he was more, what was more important was 17 hours a day, providing for his family, working 17 hours a day, because that's all you would talk about. And then no lunch, skipping lunch. That's not good for your body and your health and
No,
grounding.
no.
And but he had good intentions. He wanted to take care of his family, but his thing was build this for your future, for your retirement. And then look, he's 75 and he's gone. Like what what did that all do for him? You know what I mean? Like he didn't really enjoy it. So it's like that just reminds you. And I had that wake up call last year when he passed, and it woke me up big time and said, you know what, man, the only important thing is the present moment, is the now. Like, screw like this. I'm planning for my retirement. I'm planning for 20 years from now. Like, well, you may not even be around. You may be sick and ill. I'm not wishing that on anybody, but that's what I saw my dad end up, my grandparents, his parents. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like the only important thing is the now and the present moment. Like I try not to, like people say, do a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. I'm like, I'm not thinking that far in the future.
Mm. Yeah, I've never been about that like whatsoever. Like, okay, like just go back 5 years. Like people could have made all these 5-year plans, and then what happens? Then it's like 2020, 2021, the 3 years of the pandemic, or that happens. Then it's like what happens then? There's all these restrictions. You
You're
can't
not even the
travel, you
same
can't do
person in
anything.
five
You're not
years
even the
though,
same
dude.
person.
You're not
Society's
even
not the same.
no.
It's like people had all this talk about going back to normal, and it's like, I mean, there's so much stuff you can't even talk about still today, and it's like, no, it's not the same. Society's clearly changed since after that.
Totally. And you're not even the same person anymore, dude. In like a year, and like 6 months, every minute we're changing. And your
Mm,
values and beliefs and everything's going to be
mm.
completely different in 5 years.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know,
even if I go back like even 2 years, I wouldn't have thought that I'd make this move, to the country, inland, and
no.
doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't have thought that whatsoever. And it's like, I think it's like we all make plans to a certain degree. Like, I have a dream, a vision of, how I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to live a
yeah.
life, but it's not this specific thing where it's like, oh, in 5 years I want to be here. It's like, no, it's like, okay, this is a vision of how I want to live my life. It's like, okay, what can I do every day on a daily basis to basically get there? So it's like, so small, simple things like just daily. And it's like, it keeps you in the present moment as opposed to being focused, all right, on this destination of, oh, I need to get there in 5 years, and when I get there, then I'll be happy. But then you get there, and oh, when's the next 5-year plan?
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's the whole joke. It's such a scam, dude. It's like that's what we've been taught in these school systems, it's a joke to me. It's like, and then it's ingrained in the women, and then they say you're like a deadbeat if like you don't the way you think, because you don't have this ideology or this belief about that. I need, like, this is the way I do it, man. Like, you either accept that or you don't accept that. You either, this is the life I want to create for myself. I'm more, for me, like, I feel like I'm a free spirit, and I'm getting more into that as I learn about I'm on this journey of discovery, like, as that more I discover myself, the more I'm like, I just want to explore this beautiful place, you know what I mean? Like, and like this amazing ability that we have to have physicality, and to dip my feet in the water, and breathe in the cold crisp air, you know what I mean? Like, this is a gift, man.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's exactly what I've been thinking. Like, I mean, I've had thoughts for years of, I want to just be in nature more, explore new places, travel. I
yeah,
mean, just
yeah,
see everything,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
whether
yeah,
it be, like, of course, spending a lot of time in nature, but even going and seeing new cities, new
yeah,
places, meeting new
yeah,
people, seeing different cultures, things like that.
yeah, 100%, dude. Same here. Like, I've yearned for that for years. I was doing it for a little while,
Mm.
and but yeah, that's a big part of it, man. Like, cultures, it's so cool. Like, me and you, a lot of the stuff we follow is similar, even on YouTube, and we're like thousands of miles away, and it's pretty insane, man. Like, when I think about it, how we met,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
how we're definitely different in age, everything, man. But like,
Mm.
we have a lot of very common interests and um goals and different things, but like, making a goal doesn't mean you have to, like, it can be just a goal versus like I have to get there by a certain amount of time, and if I don't get there, like
Yeah.
it's over, you know, like not having an
Yeah, I
attachment
think
to
it's
it.
like making plans, setting goals. I think it's like
Yeah,
it's fine. We all do it. Like I have
yeah,
goals, dreams,
yeah.
a vision of how I want to live. But it's like I think the key is to not become attached to, oh, I have to
Yes.
be exactly like this. It's like
Yeah.
it's okay to be flexible of like things to um change over time. Like I watch like in my spare time in the evening, I like to watch, some travel vloggers, and there was this one Polish travel vlogger. I think her name's like Eva Zubek. Yeah, that's and she basically had this goal of, she was traveling she was basically doing an overland traveling where she was going traveling across the US, and she went all the way up, northern Alaska, and she wanted to go down across the Pan American, highway all the way down to like South America basically. And she had a break of, a few months, I think somewhere like in Mexico somewhere. And after that, she just came back recently and she realized that, she doesn't, that's not something that she actually wants to do anymore. That
Mm,
the whole like massive trip across, the Americas basically. And it's like, it's all right if our goals and your dreams, visions, change over time. Like we're not going to be the same person tomorrow that we are today
yeah.
necessarily. And it's like
Yeah.
what we want to do tomorrow might not be the exact same. And it's like that's okay. We don't have to become so attached to that. This has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you know what? I feel like that's something that is falling off now for humanity, just like the addictions, the attachments to all these different identities that we think we need to be or we need to achieve, or it's changing vastly, very fast, rapidly. And where especially whoever's on the awakening journey or is awakening currently or has been, I really don't think that you're gonna like feel the same way as you did today as you do tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's like it's completely changing, and for the better, I think. Because I feel
Mm.
like we're all breaking the chains, of feeling like we're boxed in, and we're like like I feel like and I feel like very similar to you, we're creating these new pathways. Like we're creating new ways of doing things, new ways of being, you know what I mean? Like at least that's what I feel about myself, and I kind of get that with you. Um
Yeah,
and
whole new pathways.
yeah, like whole yeah, like completely new pathways, like it even reminds me of like when you did that video about you doing that you did that cold plunge in the creek, in the pond or whatever, or the that small lake or whatever.
Yeah, and the creek.
Yeah, the creek, and that's a new pathway. You know what I mean? Like that's like a lot of people wouldn't carve out that pathway because of being scared, or like going into the forest and doing that. You know what I mean? Like, so you are like creating this new thing that's already people have already been doing, but you're showing people it can be done and you can do it. And like that's amazing, dude. Like really, I mean, it's it's bigger than that. Video alone is bigger than you actually think. The more people that see that are going to be like, especially the younger generations are going to be like, man, I can do that too. And um so it's like, versus going to a supermarket and working 10 hours a day. Like that's already been being done a million times over, and it's not working. You know what I mean? Like people are getting sick and they're overdoing their,
Mm.
it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so we
I
have
think,
to,
but yeah, I think what people really need to see, they just need to see, examples that no, it can be
yes,
done. That there is other
yes,
ways. Like I mean, I
yeah,
because
yeah,
I remember back like going back, even just 2 years ago, it's like like so many of the things that I'm doing now. It's like, is my life perfect? No, it's not. I still have a lot of room for improvement, a lot of growth. But it's like a lot of the things I'm doing now, I would have kept telling myself before, oh no, it's not possible. Like like my goals, my dreams. I've told myself, oh no, it's not possible. I can't do it. Blah blah blah. And you make all these compromises, but no, it's like no, it's enough now. It's like it's no time left for compromising. We just got to like just we can live our best life like right now. It's like
yeah,
instead of waiting for, I need more money, now is not the right time. It's like if you just keep waiting for the right time, the right time will never come. The only right time is right here now in the present
yeah, yeah.
moment. Like
You're right.
everything else is just an illusion.
You're right, dude. I mean, you're totally right. I mean, that's why I say, man, I like I was watching your earlier video, and it's like I learned something from it, you know. And I learned from just listening to you now, you know. It's just like these are things we all can hear, and we all need to hear, because like I said, man, in that one video I did, life goes by like the blink of an eye, and people think that they have forever. And I thought that with my father, and he's gone now, you know, in the physical. And so trust me when I say it. Um, it feels like forever, but in actuality, it really isn't. It really goes by like the blink of an eye, fast. And it may feel like it, man. It may feel like it through the, like when you were going through that whole thing this last week or so, man. I bet it felt like eternity. Like, when is this going to
Oh,
be
I
over?
did. I was like, when the hell is this? When is this hell going to end? But
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, longer time. Like, and when you're in that moment, it feels like
yeah,
eternity. But even if you go a few weeks, a few months in the future, it will just with blinking of an eye, it's like, yeah, it's done now.
yeah. Before you know it, 5 years is going to be
Mm,
gone by, and
yeah.
you're going to be like, oh man, that was
Mm,
nothing, dude. That, holy crap, it was like 5 years ago I was moving into that place, and like all that crap I was going through. Like, but you realize this, man, and this is one thing that came through really big for me, which I feel like the same thing for you with this whole situation. All it was really doing was strengthening you inside to get you to the place you are now, which I feel you are a lot more, you're a lot different than you were even in the beginning stages when we first met. And it added self-worth, it added courage to you, it added strength within. All that stuff that you went through was just building you up to prepare you for what's next. And that's what I was realizing that's been going on for me the last 7 years. Because it's been kind of like, I can tell you, like hell, if you want to if you want to say. All right. And with a lot of different situations and a lot of rock bottoms and a lot of shit. But you know what? My birthday just passed recently, and I had a lot of time to reflect, and things were coming through. I was getting downloads and stuff like that. And it was reminding me that I went through a lot of this for strength, to build inner strength, to build courage, to learn my worth and my value, like what I'm willing to accept and not accept, and what I'm willing to do and not do. Like, and it even helped me to create boundaries, which I never had. So like, this situation for you was strength, man, and build inner strength and courage, and and so there's never, I mean, nothing's an accident, there's always a
mm.
reason of why you go through it. And
Yeah, yeah, I really resonate with that. And even in your latest video where you talked about, like discovering yourself, this whole journey that we're on, it's like really is about, us discovering, our true authentic selves.
yeah, oh totally. And yeah, that's what I'm starting to understand more and more. In the moment you're not thinking that, and like, now I think you're opening up your mind, and your awareness is getting bigger, and your consciousness is getting bigger, so you're getting more clarity of everything from like a bird's eye view, when a lot of people don't get that, man. I didn't get that for a lot of years later in my life, so you're very fortunate to have that coming online already. And and you're seeing that, and it's beautiful, the more and more you get to see that bird's eye view, but yeah, man, it's like, yeah, I believe that you went through all that tough stuff, man. It's like made you stronger, man. And then look at you, you're going hiking, and you now want to do other things. You weren't talking about that a month ago, or when we first were talking, or even on any of your videos in the past, so it just shows like where you've come, and just that,
Yeah, and it just
just
shows that
last
like
couple weeks, yeah, the move and everything, it changed
things,
you.
yeah, things like that. It just shows you like we'll go through all these challenges, all these, adversity. I mean, you've talked about on your channel some of your, challenges and adversity that you've gone through, and ultimately it all helps like each of us like to get to who we are today and like continue to grow and evolve. Like nothing is an accident, and it's like what all the situations that happen in our life, like all the difficult situations, like in the moment, we'll we won't want to be there. But in the long run, it's like, while there may be regrets and all of that, it's like these situations that ultimately will what and it will give us the perspective and the tools that are necessary to, really get to, living the dream basically, and getting to
Yeah.
living our best life.
Yeah, because it's also teaching you like what you're willing to put up with and what you're not willing to put up with. If I didn't go through some of the things I went through, not to say that we have to, because my which you guys are going to meet him and you're going to meet him, Jeremiah, and if you may have already listened to some of the content, but he speaks from a you'll get his perspective, but the fact of the matter is we kind of have disagreement on this but it's going forward, it's going to be like that because we shouldn't have to go through that. We're not supposed to go through these challenges. We came here to experience everything, but from love and
Mm,
not pain and trauma. But we're moving out of that. We're trying to move everybody out of that so that we don't have to go through these experiences from somebody that's hurt, like, and somebody hurting you, like me hurting you because I was hurt, you know what I mean? Or you dating some female that was cheated on and now is projecting that onto you. And you know what I mean? Like all that stuff is not what it's supposed to be, but we keep perpetuating the trauma and the hurt over and over again. That's why we have to why we've had to go through these experiences, these challenges, and it created suffering, you know what I mean? Like, but going forward, we're moving out of that. It shouldn't be that way. We came here to like unite and come together and have love and joy and experience, and like not freaking suffering, like humanity's suffering, man. And it's just like, so yeah, going forward, I don't see that in the new earth, in the new world, you know what I mean? But like we've had to go through that. Not like I said, I look back and I say, you know what? Okay, I grew from it. You know what I mean? Like it did legitimately create growth and I learned something from it. Like I learned how I don't want to be treated like that anymore. You know what I mean? That's what I was getting at. You know what I mean? Like hell, I'm not going to put up with that anymore, man. You're not going to mistreat me and disrespect me and not have that, type of thing. But like before I was a rug and they were just stepping all over me. You know what I mean?
mm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, like with this, with the old world that we've been living in, there's all these situations that come up, and it's like all these challenges. It's really they're designed to, yeah, help get us out of that situation. But it's like, yeah, in the new world that's coming, we won't like. I totally agree. We won't need that anymore because like those situations that come up in the first place, where we get programmed with all these lies, basically. That
Yes.
won't even be that won't even be there anymore. We'll be
No,
born
no.
we'll incarnate here, and it's like we'll just go, follow our deepest passion, live our best life, come from a place of love and not fear.
Yeah. And people will be creating like you create your world, like you view your world different than I view my world, and you'll be creating it out of love, and it'll be like this whole place will just be like right now it's just like it's still like I don't know how it is where you are, but I'm sure it's very similar because you were telling me like by the coast it's like that. And it just feels like everybody is just separate and divided and
Yeah,
like
because I mean,
I
on the
just have
coast, that's where like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and
sorry,
I'm sure
yeah.
well, it may be a little bit different where you are now in the country, but it's just like, and everybody's at each other's throats about politics or whatever, this and that, like arguing and fighting. Like this is like, or I was talking about a topic with him about a friend I had that was like a diehard football fan. And, I used to he used to yell and scream about the team and whatever. And it was just like, I was like, let me ask you a question, man. Do you like own this team or something like that? Or like, are you making like, are they paying you or something like that? Like, why is it like get you so raged? Like you're like, you're so passionate about it, but like, it comes from like, there's so much anger. And I'm like, there's a lot of that though. If it's not that, it's about, Republicans and Democrats, and people are ready to choke somebody over who they believe should be the president. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm like, what is going on, man? Like, and then like the on social media, the people fighting over like
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like do you own stake in that or something? Like why are you so like like I don't understand it, man. What
Mm.
makes you so like aggressive about it? Like I don't
Yeah, man, I will say this. It's like, I mean, as sort of a outsider looking in, I mean, American politics at times can be very entertaining. I mean, it's very, I don't know, it's like, I mean, of course, we have things here, like you go to the big cities, you have protests and like
yeah,
disagreements,
yeah.
all of that. But it's like I don't know, the polarization over there just seems like really extreme. Like here, you've got the two major parties as well, like, Labor, Liberal. But it's like for the most part, there's really not really, from my perspective, there's not really that much difference between them. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's like there's a different culture surrounding it as well. That it's like, and I think definitely where you go, like when you're living a life more connected to nature and like when you're sort of out in the countryside as opposed to in the city, like politics changes quite a lot as well. It's like in the city, like all these issues will seem like such a big part of life, so important and all of that. Whereas when you're away from sort of all that action, basically, it's like it can be very different.
Yeah, that's a good point. You have a good point. I can say I can agree with that. I mean, and it's the same thing with this other topic, which I know Jeremiah is going to go like in depth with it. But like I was on one of these YouTube channels that they were talking about, and they brought on like a lot of the heavy hitters that had to do with it, like the flat Earth. Is the Earth flat or is the Earth round? And this is like people are like doing the same thing with that. They're like, if you have an opinion and you think it's flat, and then this person thinks it's a sphere and it's round, then they're fighting, they're ready to like choke somebody out because
Mm.
you don't believe what they believe. And it's like the sports, arena and the politics arena. It's like maybe it is just the United States thing. I don't know, dude, but it's just
Oh, I mean,
like,
I think like sports and politics, it's like it really is everywhere, but I think it's like US politics really is like because it's known worldwide, it's like so out there in your face. Like you'll be anywhere in the
yeah,
world and you sort of know about it. Whereas like, I mean, who the hell outside of Australia knows about our politics here? Like not many really. But yeah,
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
it's like at the end of the day, I think it's about like I don't know, like I feel like with the advent of social media, especially, it's like people just go online into all these echo chambers where, they'll share their opinions, but they'll only listen to other people who have similar opinions to themselves. They'll get locked in these echo chambers and that anyone who shares a different perspective will just be attacked and shut down and all of that. And then of course you have all this online censorship like here on YouTube, but even worse on like Facebook, all of that, share
yeah,
an opinion that's different to the mainstream and they'll try to censor and shut you down basically. And it's like I think it all gets back to like in the new world that's coming, the new earth, it's like you know people are not going to be the same, people are always going to be different, but when you get to the point of like respecting each other's boundaries of saying all right, like come from a place of love where it's like, all right, you have a different opinion to me. We might not agree on everything, but at the end of the day, I'll respect your right to have a different, opinion. And it's like, don't try to force, like no one should try to force their opinion on someone else. Like it's the same way
yes,
of like,
yes, yes.
not forcing beliefs, not forcing religion, like things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, man. It's like, yeah, that's what I feel like the new earth is going to be too. We're going to have it's going to be so like, yeah, man. I love that. I think that we really I would love to talk more about that like on another episode with you for sure because I want to paint a picture for people, of this new place. We were kind of doing it on the podcast. We have a series on it, and but it's something that I think should be to get your insight and your perspective. It's just like me and you see like this beautiful place, that we're creating, we're co-creating. That's what I feel like we're doing because we're fed up, man. We've had enough of this crap, people at each
Yeah.
other's throats, and and like I just want unification and love, man, and people just to
Mm,
treat each other
exactly.
with
It's like
respect. Yeah,
even with politics, like people get so caught up with it. Like it's I mean, you can really clearly see it, online, like what we're talking about in the US, but even here as well, it's the same thing where like people will put their faith in this political party and this politician and say, oh, like if they get in, they'll solve all these problems and all of this. And it's like essentially people they get so caught up in like basically just expect that, oh, this one person's going to come in and save the country, save the
Yeah,
world,
yeah,
and then everything
yeah.
will all be solved. But at the end of the day, it gets back to the fact that it's like, no one's coming to save us. We all have a role to play in bringing the new earth here and making this world a better place. It's not going to we can't just sit here and wait for some politician to come in and fix something, which they're not going to do. It's like,
No, no, we have to save ourselves, man. Like we have to save ourselves. No one's coming in to save anybody, man. It's saving yourself. It's like doing your stuff, what you need to do for you. No one is gonna like. No one is gonna. I learned this in Kundalini yoga. They said like I was doing this one position that had to do with glasses, so you don't wear glasses anymore. I stopped it. I haven't done it for a while, but like it's a position that you can do and it'll like strengthen your eyes and everything. And she says no one is going to sit there and what did she say? She said like no one's going to sit there and put like no one can sit there and do it for you. You have to do it yourself. You know what I mean? And it's like no one can go to the gym for me and exercise. No one can sit here on this video and record for me. I have to do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm the one that has to put the good food in my body. I'm the one that has to, you know what I mean? Like no one's going to do that for me, you know? But it's like we've kind of adopted this mentality like I'm going to go to the medical place and they're going to save me there, and they're going to give me this
mm,
pill and I'm just going to take it and it's like going to solve everything, or I'm going to just it's like getting everything quick and like not wanting to like go through the motions and the process like and maybe we could just end it after this and you could say whatever you want and uh but I was thinking about taking a shortcut with YouTube. And be honest, like I'm not honest on this channel with you and this collab and my channel and everything, and you know me. And so I wanted to take a shortcut, because I'm like frustrated. I'm like, it's going slow and it's moving slowly. And I thought about it. And then I connected to myself and I realized, you know what? That's not the right way to do it because you know what? I'm going to get people that don't resonate with the content that not only that I'm skipping steps. I'm trying to skip steps and get to 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers, right? And this is a process of growth too. You know what I mean? Like
mm.
the process of getting like if like it's just like anybody just wanting to jump from having $10 in their bank account to 1 million. You know what I mean? It's not about the money. It's not about that. It's about the growth of you too. Like this channel represents you. So it's like also like about you going through the process and then you getting to that result, but enjoying the journey along the way, right? And now you're
Mm.
growing along the process. But if you just are able to like, oh yeah, I'm going to find this person that can like get me monetized and get me subscribers and whatever, and like I'm going to get to that point, like that's where are you learning in that process? You know what I mean? Like there's a process of learning along the way to get there, and then that journey along that way, and like versus like getting from 0 or 10 subscribers to 1 million, in like a week. You know what I mean? Cutting all the corners to get there. You're sacrificing something to get that. You know what I mean? You have to. But the ones that actually enjoy the journey and the process and they go through the motions to get there and to put in the time and the energy to get there, there's more fulfillment in that, right?
Yeah, so like even just with YouTube and like growing the channel, it's like there's all these services out there that say, you like pay them and they'll
Oh
help you
yeah.
find your channel and get you all these subscribers and all these numbers. But at the end of the day, it's like I think what's more important is, attracting people to the channel who will genuinely, benefit and like want to sort of connect and be part of the community as opposed to just a numbers game. It also gets back to, like yeah, taking shortcuts, like
Yes.
in a way, politics in a way, that's a big way to take shortcuts where people will sort of, like relinquish responsibility, like say, oh, I myself, I can't do anything, so I'll just wait for this political party to get into power and, fix this problem and all of that. And all of that, oh, the government's not doing enough, they need to do more. And it just gets into this victim mentality where you sort of treat yourself as, you know, completely powerless, which I mean, in a way, like you can argue we are powerless in many aspects, but in terms of like taking responsibility and continuing to grow and evolve, it's like no, like that's where we have to like get to that stage where we can like really just ground and connect to ourselves on an authentic level, like be authentic. Like, would it be authentic to, just use something to artificially, boost the number of, subscribers of
Mm-hmm.
on the channel or followers on any other social media platform as opposed to, like growing organically? And very often, taking that path of doing things, organically as opposed to trying to like intervene and do it artificially. It'll be a lot slower, but then like it's like, would you rather have, a channel with like, just using YouTube as an example, would you rather have a channel with, like 100 subscribers and like, let's say half your audience is, active viewers that more or less come on regularly, as opposed to a channel with, like 1,000 subscribers where let's say only like 1% of the viewers are actually like regular subscribers. Like I've seen channels that have like a lot of subscribers, but then they have very inactive sort of audiences when there's smaller channels that get a lot more sort of engagement and all that. It's like I want people on my
That's
channel
exactly it. Same here.
who genuinely benefit, who genuinely can sort of relate to what I'm saying, as opposed to like just being on there as part of the numbers and watching for entertainment and things like that. Like you've said in some of your videos, like you don't want people just to watch you just for entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, you're spot on. And I was at a crossroad, man, because I'm like, oh, this guy is like, oh yeah, I'll get you monetized, I'll get you to 1,000 subscribers, whatever, and this and that. And then I started to really think about it, and I started to really, and I spoke to um this beautiful soul, this woman who we were doing the records together, and I was talking to her about it, and it was like, yeah, I came to the conclusion like, no, I don't want to do that. That's not for me, because it's about like, it also includes growth involved. And if you're trying to shortcut everything, it's not going to turn out right. You're going to get what you essentially what you were shortcutting. You know what I mean? Like he even said to me, he said, oh yeah, I go, I want this specific type of audience. And he says, I can't do that. This is like a global thing. And he goes, you're going to get just whoever, you know what I mean, from anywhere. And I want engagement. I want people that want to grow and evolve and learn, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I
for
don't.
sure. It's like the same thing. Like on my channel, I don't just want numbers as such. Like it's
Yeah.
like yeah, my channel's small, but it's like at the end of the day, there's a few people that come on. Like I mean, like you've left a lot of comments. Like I've been watching a lot of your things, and there's a few people on my channel that come on like regularly and they leave comments. And it's like even if my channel like helps in just one person, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's worth it. And even let's just say my channel doesn't grow at all, it helps no one. Well, at the end of the day, just by making and posting these videos, it helps me. Like
It's helping
when I
you.
like a lot of the
Exactly.
like a lot of the times recording these videos, it's like a form, it's almost a form of the journaling or therapy. Like for me, like a lot of the things that I say, like I need to say that, I need to hear that myself. It's like
100%.
it's a continuous process, because I mean I'm not perfect. I'm not always living what I might preach. Essentially, I might say, this is how to succeed in this aspect of your life, but that doesn't mean that I embody it every day. It's like I have good days, bad days, like same like everyone.
Oh, 100%, man. You're spot on, dude. And it's totally right. It's like if it helps, but you realize that that one person that it helps, that person's going to go out and help somebody else and it's going to be a domino effect. So it's like you really are making an impact no matter what. You know what I mean? If they even just got one
Mm,
thing from your video, you know what I mean? So
exactly.
it's
And
like,
like yeah, you might not even see, like you might see that, oh, this my channel is helping this many people. I've got this many subscribers, but you don't know who, those people might go out and show the videos, and you don't even know,
No,
there'll be people stumbling on that, like they won't subscribe to the channel, but they might even just watch one video, and that might completely shift their
transform
perspective
their
on,
life.
that specific topic. And
Yeah,
then, yeah,
yeah,
that's like you said, a domino effect.
yeah, yeah. And you transform somebody's life, and it's like that alone. And not only that, man, it's prepping you for something else, maybe. It could be you may something else may spawn out of it. You may meet somebody, you may like me and you connected, you know what I mean? It's like now we're creating something, you know what I mean? And who knows where that leads even more, and it's like on top of it, it's like building your confidence and my confidence, and it's a lot. Everything, there's no accident for anything, man. There's no accident that you're getting on there and doing it, because you could probably meet somebody that would not do what you're doing. They're like, hell no, I couldn't do that. Like my dad didn't want to get on camera. I was hoping that he would get on the podcast and he would come on. He wouldn't do it. So it's like the courage that takes alone to be vulnerable and open yourself up like that, and is priceless in itself. And it's setting you up for something that you have no idea yet what it is. And you'll be like, oh my God, no wonder why I was doing that, man. Or maybe the channel's just going to explode anyway, which it probably will at some point. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. And if we look at all of it that in that way. But yeah, I'm how do you feel? I think that's probably a good place to, unless you have more to say. Or
No, no, yeah, pretty much said anything. And yeah, it has been a great one. It's been a while since our last one. It's great to be
yeah,
back in
yeah.
the swing of things.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love this one, man. I think this is really going to help a lot of people, man, and ourselves too. And yeah, thank you, man. I was excited to do this again, so I was looking forward to it, and I enjoyed it. Enjoyed our time, and I hope this helps someone, man. And check out Johan's new channel name and my new channel name, and yeah, man. Stay tuned for what's coming. We have a lot more things in the works.
Yeah, for sure. Just yeah, thanks to everyone who's taken the time to watch and listen. I hope it helps you. And yeah, man, it's just been great to once again be on, catch up. We've got a lot of future things planned, and
Yeah, man.
yeah, we'll stay in touch.
Stay tuned, stay in touch. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment on both our channels. And stay tuned, man. Hit the notification bell. I love you all. Thank you, brother. And yeah, man, we'll see each other in the next one, man. I'll see you soon.
Yep. See you on the next one. And always remember, be a warrior, not a
Yeah.
victim.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. Beautifully said.